Hi guys, and welcome to my latest video. The observant amongst you will notice that the channel's got a new name. It's now Crazy Cat Gaming, which kind of sums me up very well. And there's a variety of reasons for the change of channel name, and effectively this video talks about it and is the relaunch. A couple of games, well, there's a game and a race for you to watch whilst we're talking about this, and I hope you enjoy them in the background of my general wittering. The reason for the relaunch is basically, that I was never happy with the name, there's a lot of stuff I'm doing at the moment which is very much about me being myself, and the channel was myself, but it sort of, I suppose in a way, the channel name Brick Gamer Girl sort of shoved it in your face a little bit and was a bit too much, almost condescending. I am a little bit crazy. I'm also called Cat, and I'm definitely a gamer. It's definitely a gaming channel. So there you go. That's why it's been renamed. I had the girl on there originally because I wanted to make a very firm statement that I'm a girl, and the fact of the matter is I am. I am female. I've not necessarily always been knowing it, but I've always been female. But I suffer from a condition called gender dysphoria, condition for want of a better word. And that basically means that although I've definitely got the mental and thought processes and feelings and all that kind of thing of a female, bits of me on what so female. One of them is unfortunately my voice, which is why I've decided to start this video to be very open about it. And the fact of the matter is, normally I'm very open about it, and I kind of tried to hide it at the beginning just because I wanted to be anonymous, and the fact of the matter is I can't. So upfront, honest, straight up, and that's what I am. The channel originally was created, and I'll delete the original intro video just to not confuse people, inspired by a guy called Jingles, who has a massive YouTube channel, another gaming channel, which I listen to, watch religiously, and I think we've got very similar personalities, and that's why I like him. We're both quite modest, we're both quite chatty, we both drift off subject, and one of the things he said was be yourself, and I sort of had been myself in the way I was doing the videos, but not in the video channel name, so I changed the name. The channel itself, in terms of what you'll get, won't really change. You'll get World of Tanks, you'll get iRacing, at some point you want to get R-Factor 2, so you'll get that, and you'll get a range of other games, which I'll go into later. So that's sort of why I decided to relaunch it, and I'm sort of going to put this link in, or this video in, on a blog that I'm doing, because I'm quite fortunate, no, not quite, extremely fortunate, in that I do get a lot of support from family, friends. I've got a huge number of friends on the internet and in real life. I've got a brilliant social life, and a lot of transsexual people don't necessarily have that. To a degree, I think they bring it upon themselves. That's a slightly controversial statement, and it wouldn't surprise me if I get a comment negative, so I better quickly explain that. Everyone's who they are. I'm who I am, and I think you've got to try and have a positive mental attitude, and if you've got a positive mental attitude, then you've got a much better chance of enjoying life. And no matter what condition is thrown at you, cancer, gender dysphoria, flu. You've got, whilst there's a cure side of it, there's also the side of it which you could do yourself. The more commonly, or the simplest analogy, and I'm using this without by any means degrading the seriousness of the condition, but cancer. A lot of cancer sufferers, and I've had a few friends who've suffered from cancer. Some who sadly lost their fight. Some who, at this moment in time, have won or are winning their fight. But they're all fighters. They all just get on with life. They enjoy life. They don't let it get them down. They don't let it subdue them. They just get on and enjoy life. And one of the things that I think I'm trying to do without realising it, and I'm sort of realising it as literally as I'm talking to you now, is that some of the things I'm doing are exactly the same kind of thing. I just get on with life. I do what I can for myself. And a lot of, or certainly the transsexual people that I see on Facebook forums, or Facebook pages, on forums that I've been on, where they're struggling, they're desperately waiting for the solution from the NHS and not trying to necessarily solve as much as they can themselves. And I know this is drifting a little bit off this actual channel, but I think it's worth me saying this, partly because this is going to be linked to the blog that I do, but also because I think it explains why I've decided to do the channel, why I've relaunched it, and all this kind of thing. And basically, when I got the opportunity, which is when my marriage ended, as soon as I moved out, I started living as a woman. It was as simple as that. Snap, done. I was living as a woman. I'd lived as a woman at university for the year before, so I was studying. I'd just finished my degree when I actually separated from my ex-wife, and I'd held off a little bit because of my kids. Essentially, I didn't, even though I was struggling with myself internally in terms of that I knew I was a woman, I'd also got the kids to consider, and I didn't want to put them in a position where they might get bullied, so I left it as long as I could. But the marriage was it was over regardless of whether it was a woman. So as soon as I could, or as soon as the opportunity presented itself, we went our separate ways, and that's when I started living as a woman. It was as straight as that. And whilst you don't necessarily know exactly the conditions some people suffering from gender dysphoria are in, I can't help but think that sometimes they're not helping themselves. And if you're not helping yourselves, you're not doing yourself a favour. When they say I'm waiting for the appointment at hospital, that implies there is absolutely nothing stopping them getting on with life. There's nothing stopping them starting their transition, because you don't need a hospital to start your transition. All you need to do is say, right, I know what I am. I'm within no doubt of what I am. It's time for me to take the bull by the horns and start living as who I really am. It's not without its frustrations, but and that's where the NHS does come in. As I alluded to very early in the video, my voice annoys the hell out of me. It really, 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 I just find it it just really annoys me. My physical body annoys me a little bit. I'll walk through the park, and that's usually where I hit the dysphoria really hits, is where I see a woman maybe in a bikini, or a bikini top and shorts and this kind of thing in a nice summer's day, and I couldn't do it because I haven't got the body to do it. And I'm not talking about a nice, sexy pin-up model shape, but a lot of female clothes, things like a bikini, they need, to put it bluntly, boobs to make them work. Walking around without boobs just doesn't work, and you can't fill them out with fake boobs because of the fact that your physical makeup doesn't work that way, or the fashion doesn't work that way. So that's where the NHS comes in, but that doesn't stop you transitioning. It doesn't stop you start living, working, breathing, being a woman or a man. No one should forget that there's roughly the same numbers of female to male as there are male to female transsexual people. I'd say that the females people in my case tend to stand out more because, unfortunately for the female to male population, tomboys or just girls who like dressing up in a slightly more masculine way are fairly readily accepted. So they sort of pass the gaze of people, but people probably still clock them as women. So they have their own issues. But they're probably a little less noticeable than certainly a poorly passing male to female. I'll wait the flood of comments to say that I'm completely wrong with that, and I may be, and if I am, I apologise in advance. Anyway, so that's sort of a bit about me, a bit about what I'm thinking, a bit about why I'm doing these kind of things, but I'm also doing it because I want to do it. This is the big point. I can just get on, don't let anything hold you back. Swimming's another thing I want to do, and I'm feeling a little bit held back from swimming, but due to my body. But if I've got the money, or when I've got the money or whatever, I wouldn't mind trying to work out a way of sorting a swimsuit that allows me to do some swimming without showing bumps that I haven't got, and showing bumps I have got because I am on hormones, so I am starting to grow the bumps that I do want. Anyway, that's enough about me. This channel. Right, where are we? As I said earlier, World of Tanks and iRacing. They'll continue. But I'm looking at other games. There's various multiplayer games. Lord of the Rings Online I've played, and I want to get back into. EverQuest 2 I might get back into. Played a little bit of it. Ion, and whatever you pronounce it, is another game that I've just downloaded and I might look at. Star Trek Online, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I might look at that. I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, as I sort of look back where my history's come from. Star Wars Galaxies, Second Life, which still exists, and I might play that again, but although I probably won't do that in a video. What else? Oh yeah, Mass Effect. And this is where I'm hitting a bit of an issue. My very early videos, you'll notice, are very letterboxed, i.e. there's a lot of black below, above and below. And that's because I run on a triple screen setup, which is brilliant for gaming. It's superb for gaming. And I'll go into the rig in a lot more depth in a separate video. But in terms of videos, it means that I've got to... in games, there's two issues. The one issue is that I've got to try and resize the screen so it looks right in a video. And I don't necessarily get spot on in this race that you're seeing at the moment, which is incidentally the Radicals at Alton Park. You'll notice there's a bit of letterboxing here and in this video. There was just nothing I could do about it. Well, I could try and resize it again, but I wasn't going to do that. It's good enough for you to enjoy the racing, see what's going on in the racing. But things like Mass Effect, they just don't work well at weird resolutions. That just the way that they're not old games, but they're old enough that things like triple setups just weren't available, and they've got like fixed resolutions, and the resolutions are just struggle to play, or the graphical interface plays up. So games like that, and another one, ironically, which is a very new game, Star Citizen. I can't play Star Citizen. It just doesn't handle triple monitors, even in windowed mode, properly at all, which is very frustrating, very strange. So what I need to do, and what I'm planning on doing in the near future, as soon as I've got the money, which might not be till next year, but as soon as I've got the money it'll happen, is to by the way, watch this race. I hope you're watching the race. It was very entertaining and real tight battle at times. I'm going to build a second rig. I'll go more in depth in this in a separate video when I do my rigs. I'm going to do a video on my rigs, and basically build a single monitor rig that will serve three purposes. One, I've got a single monitor rig at the moment, which is based on a very old iMac, well, Apple Mac of some description, and it doesn't stream very well. So if I want to use it for iPlayer or anything like that, I can't. So that's the first change, benefit of it. It'll be a rig that I can stream. The second is I can play games that I want to play and put on the channel, do walkthroughs, that kind of thing. But I can't because of whatever issue related to the graphical display. And the third is it allows I can do my actual video recording on that. So I might play a iRace, or run an iRace full screen in cockpit on my main rig, and I might even record the audio on my rig, but then I'll go to my other rig and replay it and re-record it on the other rig, so that the resolution is right, and I can just run it full screen, just record it all the way through, and then burn the video on the other rig, whilst it means I can play games or whatever on my main rig. At some point in the very distant future, I want a third rig, which will be a slightly more dedicated sim rig. I've got ideas for that, which won't just be sim racing, it'll be sim aircraft as well, flight simulators. Because although I don't play War Thunder very much, one of the things I do want to do is get into the things like the simulator side of War Thunder. But to do that, I want a reasonable flight rig, so that I can control things like the engine and things like that better. So I've got a lot of ideas for that, which hopefully I'll do fairly. In the single screen rig will be fairly soon. The second one will be further in the future. But what we'll say and sort of finish off this video with is if you're if you've got games that you think I might enjoy, and I'll quickly go through the kind of games I love playing, let me know. I'm more than happy to try new games out and have a look at them and see whether I enjoy them, and if I can, I'll play them. One style of game, and I'm not, I might look at the older versions, but there's a modern game that gives similar gameplay, is the Red Alert games, Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, I absolutely adore. Brilliant game, love it. So if there's other games of that ilk, definitely up for those. I love first person adventure games, things like Deus Ex, some of the ones which have got first person, things like Half-Life. It got, obviously got mods on the back of it for things like what was it called? Can't remember. The well-known first-person shooter thingy. But it overall, but it got a storyline to it. I like doing those storylines. So any games like that, if there's a really good storyline behind them, I'm up for those. And role-playing games. I love role-playing games. So if anyone's got any ideas of those kind of things, please let me know. I'm more than happy to try them out. And my next video will probably be my rig video, and then we're back onto sort of War Thunder videos, reviews, that kind of thing. And I hope you'll stick with me through this little change and start to enjoy my videos as we move forward. I do apologise for, well, I don't know what I'm apologising for. There's nothing to apologise for. This video has taken me 2 days, that's why I'm sort of apologising. I've had issues with doing the video in Movie Maker. It's been playing up on me something rotten. But I think I've fixed that now, and hopefully this video will actually work. The apology is really to do with the blog, but that'll happen on the blog. Speaking of the blog, you'll see that in my, if you look in my in the description for this, you can pick that up. The same with jingles. There'll be a link to that, and with that I shall say good night, and I shall speak to you soon. Night night.